In Second Chronicles 16:9, it says, "The eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to Him." Fully committing to Christ, it's a challenge for many people. It challenged me. It still challenges me. Fully committing to God. Even though I was raised by good parents and went to church very, very young. I think my first Sunday at church, I was maybe like 2 weeks old. I've always gone to church, but I haven't always fully committed to God. Now, partly it's because, and it's not an excuse by any means, but partly it's because my family growing up, we were very, very poor, homeless even for a period of time, 3 or 4 months. We were poor. We were sheltered. I was homeschooled. We worked in the family business. And I gotta say, I hated all of it. I hated just about every aspect of my life. And so, yeah, I understood that God was providing, but I didn't like how God was providing. And so I was miserable, and I was miserable to be around. I didn't like God's plan. I didn't trust God's plan. And quite frankly, I didn't like God. And so I would not fully commit to Him. And so I made my own plans. In high school, I made my own plans. In college, and so I went the way of the world. I sinned. I just wanted to enjoy my life. And I gotta say, at times, it was fun. But my life was out of focus. I kind of was meandering through life, easily turned, easily controlled by the world's philosophies. And so I couldn't focus. I couldn't center in. And so I was looking for meaning in different avenues, like alcohol and relationships and study and just about anything. I wanted meaning. I needed meaning. And it's just like throughout all of it, I was just so bored. The life I had chose had left me so empty. And so spending years pursuing meaning away from God, I remembered, maybe it was from Sunday school, maybe it was from the preacher, but I remembered that God had a way, that God had a purpose, that God had a path that was filled with hope and meaning and peace. And God's voice was just echoing in my heart at that time. The path you've chosen, Aaron, is foolish. I've got something better for you. And so I cried out to God in the basement of my grandparents' house. And I said, Jesus, I need your way for my life. I commit my life to you. And that was it. Just very, very simple. But the Lord, He heard me, and He filled my life with purpose. He filled my life with meaning. Where at one time I had been closed to God's way, closed to God's path, man, like I said before, I didn't even like God, let alone trust Him or let alone love Him. But now, because I'm open to God's call, well, He has led me down some very exciting paths. Almost immediately after that time in my grandparents' basement, I was able to go and minister in Italy for a year. Shortly after that, I got married. I now have 2 really cool sons. I became a youth pastor. I've had many opportunities to serve God along the way. And in 2011, the Lord led me and my family to move from California to Texas. And by God's hand and by God's power and by God's strength, we started a church. And today, I pastor a church in Leander, Texas, that's just outside of Austin. And we've seen God do great and wonderful things there. Now, answering God's call, committing to follow Him, it's not all carefree, it's not all fun all of the time. There have been things that have been hard, and there's been things that have been very, very difficult. Deaths in the family, setbacks in ministry, people not responding, lots and lots of work. I found God's plans rarely, if ever, look like how you think they're gonna look. But beautifully, that phrase, 2 Chronicles 16:9, the Lord looks to strengthen those who are fully committed to Him. I've been on the receiving end of His strength. And you know what? Boredom and losing focus, it only comes when I'm running away from God's way. And boredom has had nothing to do with the life that Jesus has given me and given my family along the way.